Hey, hello. Oop, I'll turn the camera around for a moment so you can see me. And I'll turn it back around because I want you to see I'm going to be outside. I'm probably going to be outside quite frequently here on out. Hi, guys. It is D Ocean Swagger. This is D Ocean's Deep Woo, and such a pretty day out. Clear, not like yesterday. There aren't even any clouds to spot punch outs in, but there are some beautiful birds. I don't know if you can hear them tweeting, and we're out in a pretty area. And I wanted to be outside for this because tonight we have a special guest, Robin McCray, the Sasquatch Whisperer. And they call her that because she can speak to the Sasquatch. But she's so much more than that. She has so many more other gifts than that. And we're going to talk about those. Now, I'm going to do my usual blurb. This is D Oceans. Hey, how you doing, Jim? Oh, there's a pupster. Okay. Good seeing you again. Yeah, I'm live streaming again. What? Oh, Ocean? Okay. Oh, thank you, Jim. Okay, that's my neighbor. That's going to happen because I'm outside near my place. And they're friendly here. I'm blessed that way. So, this is D Ocean's Deep Woo, and we do the deepest woo here. That's all we do. It's woo. Every kind of woo, supernatural, metaphysical, spiritual, even truther, what have you. I'm a conspiracy realist. You know, all of my theories turned out to be facts. So now I'm looking for some more theories because really, I'm kind of out of theories. But okay, let's see who we have in here really quickly. Who all do we have? We have Gemini Moon, Richard Elmore, Christy Sci-Fi Gal. Hi there. Gemini Moon is in so far, and that's just the beginning. Okay, let me preface this with my usual disclaimer. This is just tricks, tips, and hacks for that online. Well, it's not really online. I guess it's on the world, the galactic web. But for that total immersive virtual reality learning game matrix, massively multiplayer game that we laughingly call life on Earth, has nothing to do with reality, which takes place outside the matrix. So you'd think I'd have that down by heart by now, but so anyway, Robin McCray, she is an interesting person, and I have put her a short bio in the explanation. I don't want to waste too much time. We have limited time with Robin, so I'm going to get her right in here, and we're going to start talking. And she loves to answer questions, so you're going to love it. And I'm going to turn the camera around, maybe. Can I stand looking at myself? Hello. I don't know, for a little while anyway. Okay, so Sasquatch are as real as can. You bet they are. You bet they are. Absolutely. Okay, let's get her in here without any further ado. Hi, because I'm excited too. Hey.
Hi.
Great to have you in here, sister.
Me.
I feel like I already know you.
I know we have some good.
I feel like I already know you because we did, and you got a whole solid hour at least, and a little more if you want it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for
well,
it.
what I did
Whatever.
was I talked to Duke earlier and I said, listen, I'm going to be in chat late tonight, but it works out okay because the first part of the show, the person I want to watch isn't even there yet. So we're good. We can do it
Oh, great.
as long as I'm out of here by 10:30, life is good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because I don't know I know we're not going to cover it all in one night. And I know I'm going to have you back because everybody's going to love you.
Oh, okay.
We
Glad you think
already
so.
love you.
I'm glad you think so. People are very, very kind. I'm very surprised at how kind everybody's been with me. Not, you always get a few haters, and that's okay because while they're hating on me, I'm outside playing with Bigfoot, so I'm okay with that.
That's right. Yeah,
I don't let
and
it get through me.
I forgot my other little blurb that I do. You guys, we're mostly experiencers in here. If you're an experiencer too, feel at home. That's mostly what we are in here. If you're not, that's good too. We educate people. We're all about educating people.
Yeah.
Stick around and you'll learn some stuff. Ask questions. We love to answer questions. Except what's the airspeed velocity of a laden swallow? That's for somebody else to answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So anyway, Monty Python. Go for it, Robin. What do you want to talk about? Hello, Denali.
I'm going to let you lead the way on this. You
Okay,
can,
well,
whatever you want, I'm up for.
Well, you know what? I want to hear about it all because it's not just Sasquatch, although that's a big one. And I mean, a very important one. And, we really want to get into some things about Sasquatch that people are wondering. First of all, let's get it right out of the way here. They're not animals. They're people.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Okay. Basically what I tell everybody when I talk privately with them is I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. Everybody is learning. You learn daily. I know I do. I have been taught a lot by them and from working with them as well as the other cryptids and the ETs. But if you ask me a question and I don't know it, I'm simply going to tell you I don't know it because I'm not going to make up something to make it comfortable for everybody. The things that I say are the truth. And as I've been taught, as I've experienced, so they're my truth. For people that don't want to believe it, that's okay. I don't think badly or take it personally. These are my experiences. That's what shapes me to know what I know. And some people aren't ready for that yet, and that's okay too.
Well, if they're not ready, what the heck are they doing here? But
just kind of testing the waters. I worked with Melba Ketchum. She did the DNA study, Sasquatch Genome Project. Mm-hmm. And I met Melba because the Sasquatch had told me that she needed help, and she certainly didn't need it for me. She's the most intelligent person I've ever met. Basically what I did was just assist her, pushing pencils, emails, that kind of thing, schedule things for her. But even the Sasquatch knew she got it right. Now, when you look at it from a scientific standpoint, the mitochondrial side, meaning the mother, is human. The dad's side is listed on the scientific paper as unknown because there is nothing for the scientific community to test in any data bank that is going to show what that is. Okay, so she did get it 100% right. But now we're going to take the paper, set it aside, and then what I'm going to tell you is coming from me, not the paper. And I want to make that clear because a lot of people come back at me and say, oh, you said the DNA paper said this. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what I was told by the Sasquatch. I asked them this was before the paper ever came out, or I even knew Melba. And I said, what are you? Like when I was a kid, I was a toddler when I met them, and I was really into animals. So, they're covered in hair. So I'm like, yay, big animal. And then they started speaking. I could mind speak before I could talk. And they have language and they're writing and they can, do basic reading and they have an alphabet.
Again, sweetie pie.
And so, I very quickly realized that these are not an animal. And I finally asked them as an adult, I said, what are you? They pointed to me. I was outside my house. It was late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, because I used to go out with them every night at 2. And I asked them, and they pointed to me, and they said, "We're human like you." And then they pointed to the stars and said, "And star people." I feel like they know what they are. I mean,
Which
if I'm going to
really
take
beats
anybody's,
us.
yeah, I mean, if I'm going to take anybody's word, it's going to be theirs. So, what comes along with that is, not only the human lineage, but the paranormal side, which goes really deep. And every time we think that we've learned every ability they have, there's another 20 that show up. So
at the bottom of every rabbit hole is a whole bunch more rabbit holes too.
Yeah, it's bottomless. It's bottomless at this point. I mean, I can remember, I already knew they cloaked, and everybody on Facebook was arguing and fighting over whether or not they could. And I'm like, I know they can. I mean, I've always felt that they could. And so it was wintertime in Michigan. I'm walking around and I'm looking next to me, and there's footprints being made in the snow, and there's nothing there making them. And it got to the point where I said, okay, but everybody's still fighting about it. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell them. Like, all I know is you're not there, but I can feel, because I read energy, and I could feel they were there. And I had one come up right up next to me and then look at me for 15 minutes and cloak in front of me. And I'm like, okay, there you have it. Now I can say I've watched you cloak. And my husband and I asked them how they did it. And they said 2 ways. They bend the light, and they do that by raising their vibration.
Which means we might be able to do that, folks.
Well,
the
military
do the
does
same
it,
trick. I don't know.
Like everything else the military's learned, 90% of what they've learned, they've gotten from either the cryptids or the ETs. So, there you have it.
So basically, we know we're hybrids too. So,
I think that, like you and I talked about this earlier, I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Garden of Eden. I believe in God. I'm a Christian. And, I believe everything that goes along with God creating man. I do believe in that. But I also know that the ETs have been here for thousands of years, and they've been genetically engineering cryptids as well as other things the whole time. So do I think that we've got some of that in us? I think it's a very good thing that we acknowledge that there is a possibility. To say that I would know 100%, I can't say that. I can say what they've told me, but that doesn't get us any closer to it. But I think it's something that needs to be thought about.
Well, it's an experiential thing. There are people who claim that they have met their relatives, their star relatives, and they know for sure that they have been tweaked. Their bloodlines have been tweaked.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue with that. Okay,
they've taken
that same.
Yeah, they've taken eggs for me. They've taken all kinds of DNA. I was implanted with a fetus at one point, and then it was taken when I got 5 months along. And, my husband and I were laying in bed one night, we were watching TV, and this, I don't want to say creature, because it really wasn't a creature, this being, I guess is the best word for it, just showed up on the side of my bed and called me mom. I was stunned, like beyond stunned. And then it just walked off and walked down the hall. I got up and went after it. I mean, does that mean that she was I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. But that happened. Whether I know or not doesn't change the fact that it happened. And I think there's more people than we realize that are having these experiences. And now people are actually to the point where they're coming forward more. My abductions, the first one I remember, I was 4 years old. And when I was on the craft, they had told me that they had taken me before then. I don't remember the previous ones. I just remember when I was 4. But I've been abducted multiple times during my life. 2 months ago was the last abduction, and that was very unpleasant. I don't feel that they hurt me. I don't know what they did when they had me. But whatever it was, there was a lot of trauma in the after effects for it. And normally I don't go through that.
I had the missing pregnancy thing too happen. Yeah. So I probably do have star kids out there somewhere. My problem is, and it's something that will bother me for a long time, is I used to know and try to tell people about my experiences, and I remember telling people about my experiences and getting really odd reactions.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the actual experiences anymore because I think I got wiped.
Probably. You know, they do a lot of the memory swiping, and I stayed quiet for many, many years. Like, I was in my 40s before I came forward, and that doesn't mean, and I don't want it to be interpreted that nobody knew of it. People that were very close to me knew about it and witnessed things. So there were people that were aware, and they knew that I could do certain things, and I could, make certain things happen. And so I that support group I did have, but did I go public? No, I probably would have never gone public. The only reason I did was Igor Borstev, and who's a family friend to this day. But he knew somebody that I knew, wanted to come out, wanted to see the things going on at my property. He came out, supposed to stay a few hours, stayed 10 days. And then he wanted me to go to the scientific conference in Siberia, which I did. And I came back, and he wanted me on Facebook. And I was like, okay, that was a whole new experience for me, because I was always just me, the cryptids, and my kids at home. And so I did that. But then after a couple conferences and dealing with all the crazy people, I was like, forget it. So I just went quiet. I don't think at that point I had a problem talking about it with people. But at that point, I also had people wanting to kill me or kidnap me. And I was like, I'm not going to deal with this either. I have children. So I just went quiet again, and I kept it in the group of people that I knew, and I talked to them about it, and whoever had come to the house had seen them and experienced things, whether it was a UFO landing in the yard or whether it was a Sasquatch running around the yard. They had all experienced it. So it's hard to think that you're crazy when other people are seeing what's going on in your life.
Exactly.
I
mean,
honestly, I didn't come back out again until 4 years ago.
Probably that saved your life. That might have saved your life and possibly a few other things, because I'm going to tell you, I have a friend right now who is in a lot of trouble. I have also had some people who disappear. So,
yeah. And
gang stalking is real. We did a show about it. Yeah, it's real. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of caught between, when I was quiet, I was still stalked. I was still followed. I was followed by helicopters when I'd go out to the woods, and I'd have helicopters above me in the trees, above the trees, and ran off the road, brakes cut, that kind of thing. And that was with me staying quiet. And since I've come forward, and really, nobody really knows me. It's not like I'm, this big person that everybody knows my name or anything like that, so
you don't have to be.
No, but I do think that at least coming forward, I actually feel a little bit safer. Like before, if I disappeared, other than my immediate family, nobody's going to know. But I help a lot of people. I work with a lot of people. Some of them just need me to talk to them and say, hey, you're not crazy. These things exist. Some people want education. Some people want help with the situation that they're in with the forest people. And so it's a wide variety of things. So at some point, if I show up missing, people are going to know, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is.
Somebody's going to know. They're never going to know. Yes, somebody's going to know.
I guess I'm to the point where it's not that I don't care. I care deeply. I care very, very much about the people that I talk with, and a lot of them, they may think they need me, but they really don't. They just need a friend, and they need somebody that is going to answer questions, for them. And I'm happy to do so if I have the answer. And if I don't have the answer, I generally know somebody I can call to find out the answer, or I just ask the cryptid themselves. But, again, I don't claim to be an expert. I would never do that. I don't believe there's an expert in this field of research, because there's so much that we don't know.
Because an X is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure. So I don't really want to be an expert anyway.
Yeah, I agree. And, I always tell everybody, if you happen to talk to somebody and they say they're an expert, I want you to turn around and run. Just run. Yeah. Because there is I don't care how many books people have out there. And, I've been asked to write a book for, oh my gosh, so many years. And I have a very dear friend of mine that's really pushing for me to do it now. But it would be like a very generalized book, more of my story than theirs. And I don't know if that'll ever happen. I always say never, but we'll see. But, these people that say they're experts, there's no book or class for this stuff. Like,
Right.
There's books of people's experiences. There's books of things that they've taught us that are put into books. Yes. And you can learn from those books that these people write. There's a lot of really good ones out there. But as far as like a textbook to go to school to be trained for this, it's a live and learn. And I didn't have anybody that could help me. So, I am very honored and blessed when people ask me to speak with them or have questions for me. I take that very seriously, and I'm very grateful, because I still can't understand why anybody wants to hear anything I have to say. But I feel like if they, and I know. And I'm like, if people want to invite me into a conversation and have questions for me, I am very honored to answer those if I can.
I know how you feel. I'm a shamanic practitioner. People come to me with their problems. I do my best. Yeah. I do want to announce that happily we have managed to get rain to Denali's place. Awesome. So everybody celebrate. As you know, we've been having trouble doing that, and we found out what the blockage was. And she had to tweak some things down on her end, and once she did, those beautiful rain clouds came rolling right in, and now they're still raining, nice gentle rain. Thank you so much. And we have clear skies, completely clear tonight, unlike last night, or the other night, which was, you saw that. Yeah. You saw what happened.
We've been getting some storms here too. It's been just crazy. I keep getting this the shining into my glasses, and it's like, I feel bad because nobody wants to see that.
I get that a little bit, but you know what? Who gives a darn? We're here for the woo. We're here for the woo, sister. Just bring it on.
Oh my gosh, it's like mind-boggling. It's crazy. It's like you look outside and you're watching something levitate above the window, or they're cloaking, or like with the last abduction, I came out of I was in bed when it happened, and there were a few that were standing at the end of the bed, and then I have a ensuite bathroom, and one came out of there, and it literally looked at me, and then it waved its hand across the floor, and all of a sudden it was like all these pictures of these circles, and I was like, good Lord. It's just like, you don't know what's going to happen next.
No, you never do. It's weird. You just when you think.
Yeah, our latest thing is all of a sudden we have these flashing little. My husband, when he saw them, they were like in an orb shape. When I saw them, they almost look like a prism shape. And you go in our living room, and they're like dancing all over the one wall. We have around the room at night, and it usually starts about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So what that's all about now, God only knows. God only knows. We've had, since I moved in this house, right after we moved here, and I've had all these experiences everywhere I've ever lived. So it's like, it's not the house, it's me. I know it is. And I was laying here watching TV one night, and Pat goes to bed much earlier than I do. I have a hard time sleeping, so I'm up most of the night. And I looked over, and I'm looking on the walls, and the entire walls, the ceiling, the floor, had all these honeycomb patterns all over it, just like a grid. Ceiling, walls, floor, everything. I walk in the ensuite bathroom, and they're all over there. And I'm like, what in the world? And this went on several nights. And finally, Pat saw it, and I had told him about it. And I never felt like, wake him up. He had to get up early for work the next day, so I wasn't going to wake him up. It wasn't anything bad or negative. And, I asked the Sasquatch, I'm like, okay, so what's with the grid? I mean, really, what are we doing now? And it's just a protection thing, and they're trying to keep me safe, and I appreciate that. But it was crazy. It's like everywhere I looked, these giant honeycomb patterns just were everywhere.
I have seen those before. It looks like a grid, and I've seen them sometimes when I go to the remote viewing class. I go to a remote viewing class where we just practice. It's just real informal.
Remote view.
Over at Max Vision. And we, and we just have fun with it. But you know, a lot of us have been seeing a grid work before we start seeing the pictures. So we've mentioned that. People have mentioned that there is kind of a grid work. Now, if you ask me, I'm going to say I think it may have something to do with the fact that this might be a simulation. But we might be seeing some of the simulations poke through.
Yeah.
And
well, you know,
I don't know. Can't prove it.
No, and that's the whole thing. It's like you would love to be able to prove a lot of this stuff. Other than, you know, like you said, again, I've had so many witnesses watch the stuff that goes on around me. It's absolutely bizarre. And I don't get all worked up about it. You know, I've had several people get all excited and they're like, why are you being so calm? Because this stuff goes on every day. Like, you have to pace yourself or you're going to have a paranormal meltdown. You really and truly will.
I know, it's something new every day, isn't it?
It is. And the UFOs are intense. And, you know, and this is another thing you and I talked about earlier today. When people get into this research and they are excited about, you know, meeting and seeing a Sasquatch, okay, and that's all well and good, but it is life-changing. And it does change you. And I'm not saying it changes you for the bad, but it is changing. And then you have your different camps of people, and some of them are all excited and they're like, oh, no, you know, they're flesh and blood, and that's okay. If that's where you're mentally and vibrationally at, is that they're flesh and blood, you know, may God be with you. Have a donut, sit back and watch the show, because it's going to change.
That's right.
And they know when you're ready to be able to handle more. Like, you may say you're ready for more, it doesn't mean you are. They know when you're ready, and they determine everything. And so once you get, or they feel like you're ready for more than just that physical aspect, you're going to be surprised in what comes along with it. And this is where it gets kind of hard for people, because maybe not for the people on your show, because you're more into the woo. But I always tell everybody, I would love to put everything in a nice little box for you and make it easy for you to deal with. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I refuse to lie about it. And I refuse to change the truth about it to make it easier for people. I will guide them into it easy, absolutely, because it is a lot to swallow, and I understand that. But I'm not going to change what is. And the fact of the matter is, when you start working with the Sasquatch people, you end up going into a whole nother reality, because you've got the ETs and you've got the orbs and you've got the dogmen and the cat people and the goat people and everything in between. And you have cryptids the government makes and the cryptids the ET makes. All of these things follow each other around, the elementals, the dimensionals. And I've shared some of the photos with you. You know, I'm being truthful. You've seen them.
Absolutely. And for those
thought,
of you who don't know, just let me aside for a minute here. For those of you who don't know, we do have a group on MeWe.com. And would one of the kind mods please put our, oh, hi, Chris Chastain. Would one of the mods please put our link here so people can find our MeWe? Robin has given me permission to show her pictures in our MeWe group.
Yeah, and I've got
Galactic Woo Crew.
I've got some ETs and elementals and stuff like that. I'll get those over to you too.
That's great. We want to see it all. We want to see it all. We're all for it.
Isn't that one trippy with the UFO with the portal and the head coming out of it?
That one's really cool.
I love that one. That's one of my favorites. And it's been on World Bigfoot Radio, Duke Sullivan. I recommend everybody watch his channel. There's so much truth in there. It is beyond belief. It's phenomenal. And all my pictures, he has them too. But there's a triangular shape. Yeah, and there's a triangular shaped craft, and then underneath of it is an open portal, and there is a head coming out of it. And then also in the pictures that I sent you, and I think it's also in your group, is a blow up of the portal with the face. So you can actually see the eyes, the nose, the mouth.
If it's not, it will be there soon.
Yeah. But this is the normal of what goes on. And when I say this goes on, I don't mean this happens once in a great while. This is a daily craziness. And it's always been like this my whole life. So it doesn't faze me. And, you know, I'm very fortunate. Normally where I live, I do enough energy work and protection work. So it stays pretty calm. And while it's chaotic, it's also peaceful. I had a friend of mine that came and visited me, and she came in the driveway, and she was like, and she didn't know that I did the energy bubble around the property. And she said, what did I just drive through? And I said, what do you mean? She said, I drove through something and all I felt was peace. All it feels is like peace here. And I said, hey, everybody has to get along and play together nicely because I'm all I've got. So we have to do this. And I don't have problems here. Have I been called out to areas that have problems, or, the Sasquatch or the Dogman that are misbehaving? Absolutely, I have. But at my home, I don't tolerate nonsense. And it doesn't mean that I'm not ever going to get it. I mean, I've had rogues that have come in and my guys have literally pelted them with rocks and ran them off. I have a picture of a pukwudgie, and I still got to send that one to you too. A pukwudgie that it was in the backyard.
Those are not good.
No, but you know what?
Explain about pukwudgies.
Well, the pukwudgies,
a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're just these little creatures and they run in groups, and they can be very aggressive and very harmful, I guess is the best way to do it. And they're generally, if there's one, there's absolutely a ton. They don't normally go by themselves. I never saw another one. I will be honest and say, when I took that picture, I didn't know he was there. He was the one that popped up in the photo.
Often I find that you'll look at a picture later and you'll go, oh my God, there was something.
Do you know why that is? Do you know why that's there?
Why?
Because when all of these things, whether you believe in cloaking or not, the bottom line is all of these paranormal things can cloak. Well, I know you do, but I mean other people. They can all cloak because of the paranormal side and the ET side in them. So when you take a camera, everybody says, how do you get pictures? How do you get pictures? And you get them because two ways. Number one, if you take a picture of something that's cloaked, it shows up in your lens as solid form. So you can go out. I recommend this to everybody. Stand out in your yard or wherever you're going to go at and just click, 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 click photos to turn around in a circle, and then take them home, blow them up, and take a look and see if there's anything there. So that's how the pukwudgie got on the camera. The other thing is, if you actually see a cryptid that you're trying to get a photo of, you never, ever center the lens on them. Thank you, Christy. I love you, girl. And so you never center them in the center of the camera. You always want them off-centered. Never. If you do it in the center, they can manipulate it. And the other thing is, everybody says, yeah, everything's blurry. And you are right. They are blurry. But what nobody talks about is, why are they blurry? They're blurry because they radiate a certain energy. That energy is much stronger than ours. And so when you take a photo, 9 out of 10 times you get that blur in it. Now, in the case of the Patterson film, because everybody always compares everything to that, they got very lucky, and they were far enough away from her where there was more clarity, where it didn't hurt it as much. So, those are kind of the tricks of the trade on getting a picture of them.
Yeah, I kind of feel like something might be around right now, but I can't see anything.
Would not surprise me.
Doesn't mean a thing.
No, we had the other night, there was a situation. It wasn't anything earth-shattering, but it had to be dealt with concerning some ETs. And it was the middle of the night, and I took care of it. It wasn't here. It was somewhere else. I took care of it. And with the help of a friend of mine, and it was dealt with. It was taken care of. Well, that night, my daughter and her fiance are here, and they heard something. And they're in the upper half of the house, or we're in the lower half. They heard something very loud outside, but they didn't know what it was. I got up the next morning, I walked outside, and I might have already sent this to you. If not, I'll send it to you. And here is this circular patch on my grass that is a perfect circle. It's not large. It would have to be a scouter ship because it's not large at all, or they put another beam down. And the grass is completely fried out of it. It was not there the night before. Absolutely not there the night before. Nothing had been placed there. Nothing's ever been placed there. Nobody goes over there. And it was like the whole grass was flattened down and completely brown to the point where it was almost white. And it's just bizarre because it wasn't there the day before. And it's not really big around. Like, I mean, it's probably, I want to say 5 feet in diameter, 6 feet in diameter. So it's not massive by any means, but it's there. I can't change that it's there. And then it's got a little strip that goes right up to it that the grass is burned out of as well. There's literally nothing that's ever been over there. So why it's there, I don't know, but it wasn't there the night before. And so I took some pictures of it. But the other thing, if it's not a scouter ship, which I have those come down in my yard constantly, and they look very similar to what that is. But the other thing is they will do the beams from the ships and they will transport down through the beams. They can transport up and they can transport down through the beams. And the other picture I've got to send to you, and I thought I had done it, but I realized I didn't, is I have a photo of a beam from a craft going down on my bedroom.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't see the craft, but you can see the gigantic beam going down on my bedroom.
Here's one that was one for the books that somebody showed me. But, you know, because she would always take her pictures in a totally dark room, totally dark. But she'd get pictures.
Yeah.
No light reflecting off of anything. She was getting pictures. And she had one that was a still picture. I'm telling you guys, it was a still picture. She sent it to me. And when I looked at this picture, it took a moment. It was dark. It was all black. And then the more you looked, she says, just keep looking. The more you looked, the more there was a blacker shape. And then pretty soon it resolves into something looking at you.
Yeah.
And very obviously looking at you and going, oh my gosh, she sees me, and ducking off to the side.
Just crazy.
But this was not a video. This was a still picture.
I did a conference in Tennessee. I think it was the Tennessee one over by Cherokee. And when I was there, I put up security cameras, not to trap the Sasquatch, but I love to watch the deer. I love to watch everything. I mean, I'm out in the woods. I enjoy watching them all on the security cameras. And as everybody who has ever seen me knows, I don't have curtains on my bedroom windows, not because I'm a freak, but because the Sasquatch hate it. They like to look in the windows. I live out in the woods, so nobody can look in my windows anyway. I change all my clothes in my bathroom with the door shut, so it's not like anything bizarre. And so I like to lay here and I look out in the yard at night and I can see the forest people walking around and doing, their thing. But I had the security camera up because I had an app that went on the tablet. And I looked out there one night and there was the most craziest things going on. Like, it was bizarre. And we have seen them morphing and changing shape from being a Sasquatch down to a raccoon. We have seen the UFOs out there. We've seen the ETs out there. We've seen the Dogman out there. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, but they took out the cameras at the same time. And so we had to have the cameras replaced because they fried them out from the inside out. But it was just really crazy because we were able to get such good footage from them, until they figured out the cameras were there, and then it was all damaging again.
Right, of course.
But the thing I want to stress to people is, and we had already brought it up and we got talking and just jumped around, and I apologize. These really and truly are people. They're an ancient type of people. They may not be our people, but they are people. And there is a relation to these people. Now, people say, no, they're physical animal out in the woods. Well, that may be your experience. And when the time is right, I'm sure you'll have your awakening and you'll be able to accept and deal with the truth. The truth of the matter is, these are a type of people. They're an ancient people. They're multidimensional. They can be in physical form 1 minute. They can move through dimensions the next. They can go into shadow form and show up in your house. But they can do it. And there has been thousands and thousands of witnesses that have encountered this. It's not just me saying it. You know, that many people are not wrong. That many people are not going to have photos of these things. There's people that communicate with them. I communicate with them. Christy Sci-Fi communicates with them. My husband communicates with them. One of my dearest friends communicates with them, whether it's verbal speech or whether it's mind speak. They are communicating with them. They have it. They can speak any language we need them to. They can speak the ones in Russia. I still talk to the ones in Russia that I talked to when I was in Siberia. I have to continually tell them I have to continually tell them to stop talking to me in Russian, because even Igor tried to teach it to me. I'm horrible at it. I'm never going to get it. I'm brain dead at Russian languages. And they'll turn around and they'll speak in English. They can speak in any language needed, but they have their own language. They have their own alphabet. They can read, they can write, they can talk. They do everything a human being can do. And then you have to go to the old saying, if it walks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's a duck. It doesn't, if anybody thinks that they care that it's hard for us to accept what they are, they're wrong. The only thing they care about is that they're not viewed as monsters. They are not monsters. We have people in our culture that are murderers, rapists, pedophiles, schizophrenic, mental illness, you name it. They have the same issues. So people say, no, they're all bad. They're not all bad, but they're not all good. Like, I will never go anywhere and say that these are a people that are 100% good. And you look at all these camps on Facebook that are either they're all good or they're all bad, or they're the Nephilim. They are not the Nephilim. And they get very agitated and upset when called Nephilim. They are not fallen angels. And they are simply an ancient people. They have these abilities. Yes, they do. But you know what? We have abilities too that we've been led to believe don't exist. Mind speak is a perfect Mind speak is a perfect example. There's nobody that cannot mind speak. If I can do it, a trained chimp can do it. Okay? I didn't know that we couldn't mind speak. I was mind speaking before I could talk. And my mother would tell me when I did learn how to talk about how I would tell her what, these things were saying. And that this has been, I had a friend of mine that lives next door to me. And fortunately for her, I let her know that the forest people were around here, because once I got here, she had encounters with them as well. And she came over for Christmas one year and my mother was here, and she said to my mom, have these things always been around her? My mom said, as long as I can remember. And when I was a kid and I went to my mom and dad and I asked them about it, and this was before Patterson and Gimlin was out, and my mom and dad were very kind, and they said, we know you're not lying, you don't lie, but we can't help you with this. We don't know anything about it. And there were no books about it. I was 4 years old and out in the woods looking for stick structures and wanting to play with them. And so my mind, and this is why, a child's mind is able to connect with these people. They're not trained yet that things are impossible, that things don't exist. Their mind is wide open. And so
pretty much the answer I got when I asked that question.
Yeah, they respond to them because they don't know that they can't. I don't know if anybody can see this. Let me see if I can get over there. No, I can't get it to turn. Ugh, that's a Bigfoot on there. You can't see him very well other than his little bulbous nose, but a friend of mine took one of my photos and put it on a cup for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I could do that too. I'm going to put some of my stuff on cups and t-shirts and stuff.
I love it. And he is literally my heart. He knows it. There's 3 or actually 4 of them that own, they own my heart. They do. They've saved my life 5 times now. I try to save theirs every chance I get. They taught me how to do healing work on them, so I do healing work on them. I can do it remotely. I can do it in person. I can remote view. I can astral project. I can do all kinds of fun stuff. I come in handy once in a while.
Well, what?
If I can do it, a million other people can.
Yeah. And I keep telling people this is what we're supposed to be able to do. This is what's been somehow, and we're not going to go into all of the ways that this has been done.
Yeah.
But this has been turned down in us. This has been kind of crimped off.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't get it back. And by golly, I'm going to get all of it back that I can get. That's right. Well, there's probably a lot more to that. I think probably there was some profit in not letting us know or not.
It comes down to control. I don't think it's so much a profit,
it's a control freak thing.
It's a control. You know, the powers that be want to have as much control over the masses as possible, is my own opinion. And I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, I'm not going to start pointing out names, but yeah.
I think that has everything to do with it. I think that's absolutely all of it right there. It's a control thing.
Yeah.
It's really hard. If we were fully functioning with all our abilities, we would be impossible to control. We would be able to do any daggone thing.
Yeah.
Okay? And we will be able to do this again, I think. Hello, Barry Kustachin.
Yeah. Well, the AI controls the Draco. The Draco controls the Cabal. The Cabal controls the elite. And then you get the ETs into the government and you go from there.
Right. Well, however, I do believe that the human spirit is stronger than any of that, and that we will eventually be free of that. But
I hope so.
We've got to take back our abilities. We've got to take back who we are and remember who we are. Well, I think that's probably.
Yeah. And if I could, I'd like to say something, if that's okay.
Sure. Try not to get us in trouble with the algorithms, but we already might be. But go right ahead.
Okay. I have been contacted in the last 6 to 7 months by a lot of people. I mean, I already was working with quite a large number all around the world. I don't stick to just the US. And I have been so blessed by the incredible people that I've been fortunate enough to meet. I mean, they end up becoming family to me, like Christy. As far as I'm concerned, Christy's family. She'll always be family to me. And I'm working with some new people right now that have just turned out to be the dearest friends. Mr. Christopher. He's the sweetest guy. I just think the world of him. He's so kind. And in fact, I couldn't find the link for the show tonight, and he had to send it to me. So hi out there, babe. Just a truly wonderful human being. But these people that I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have come into my life, they have a common denominator. And they have had encounters that they may or may not remember. And I kind of trigger it a little bit, and they start to remember. But there's a lot more than normal, is my point. People are coming out of the woodwork right now with either encounters or a feeling or a knowing that they're supposed to be part of this bigger picture, and they don't know where they fit into it. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk briefly about. I've talked to the Sasquatch about it, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because it's normal for me to have people brought into my world. And I am always just thrilled by it and blessed by it. Some of the dearest people to me were brought to me because of the Sasquatch. And I said, but what's going on? Because these people are coming in droves all of a sudden. And this is what I was told, that they are building bridges. And I don't mean that in a physical bridge. The words they used to me were, we are building bridges, the coming together of the people. And by that, they mean their people and our people, and they're trying to merge it forward. Now, behind the scenes, when Melba Ketchum did the DNA study, the reason they were in full support of that study, okay, because it was the truth about them. They don't want to be known as monsters. They want to be just let to live their lives. They're not asking to be out on every street corner. They're not asking to come and have family dinners with you. They're asking to be left alone. Let them encounter the people that they choose, that they want to have contact with. Let them and their families be left alone. Let them live in peace. The bad ones will normally not want to be by us, and they'll go up high in the mountains or high out in the woods where they aren't bothered. But yet we're the ones that go up in the mountains. We're the ones that track all the way far back in the woods looking for them, provoke them. Now, some are just bad and they're going to be obnoxious no matter what you do, but we aren't helping the matter. And in this matter of the building of the bridge, they want peace. They want to be acknowledged for what and who they are, which is really what we want. These are
That's what I got. I got the same message. I got the same messages. They want to, first of all, those who can understand, they are willing to tell us. They're willing to talk to us. They're willing to help us understand. Those of us who desire to understand and desire to live in peace with them. And actually, they would happily be our allies, I think.
Well, I think we're looking at two different kinds of lies. Their culture is completely different than ours. What goes on in our world, they can't understand, and we don't understand in theirs. Right. You can make as many protection laws as you want. And I was asked at one time to be part of one, and it broke my heart, but I had to say no, because it was a protection law that this person wrote, came from his heart. He was a dear, dear man. Wonderful man. But it would have worked for our people, but it didn't work for theirs. So we can argue each. Yep. I agree. You can't argue somebody else's beliefs.
That's right.
I agree with that. And so I couldn't help him with that. The only way for people to protect them is by educating others. That is, I have thought about this. I am 58 years old. Sorry to say it, but I am. And I have spent my entire life trying to find a way to protect them. I will go to my grave protecting them. But the only thing that has ever made any sense from them as far as how to protect them is to educate people. I went quiet after the Ketchum study. That's what
this show's about. This show is about education.
Yeah, I went quiet after the Ketchum study. And 4 years ago, I came forward again because the forest people asked me to. They wanted the truth about them. I did that. I've done what they've asked me to do. I will continue to. When they say they want me to stop, I'm done. I won't be on podcasts. I won't be on any of the shows anymore. I won't be at any of the conferences anymore. I will go back to just living my whole home drama-free life like I did before. I came forward for them, not for me. All right. And so in doing so, and other people have been asked to do it too. It's not just me. I am nobody special. I'm just somebody that's really had a bizarre life. And so other people are being asked the same thing. Well, now we're doing what they've asked us to do, but now they're trying to meet us halfway. They're making more contact with people now than they ever have. You see more encounters posted, more people talking about it because they are making their presence known. They're trying to enforce what they want us to teach people, to build that bridge, to bring the people together. You know, they are helping people. I mean, they're not all bad. I spoke with somebody the other day, and he had gotten, contact, and they had actually protected him from a situation that could have been very harmful. They do it to me all the time. They do it to multiple
I think,
people.
with me too. I actually think they did with me a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because, and I think I told you a little bit about it, but yeah, I didn't tell you everything, but yeah, there was a situation when I first started hearing from them, and they first started, well, it isn't the first time they mind spoke me, but it's when I started realizing who I was mind speaking to. And I started getting answers from them, and I said, well, if I really am mind speaking, will you do something to show me that this is real? And they did. Mm-hmm. And I have the proof of that. I have some pictures. And once I did that, but since then, they seem to be pretty willing to talk to me, pretty willing to answer questions, as long as it's not stupid shit. I mean, but I mean, well, yeah.
And when it comes to mind speak, I would like to touch, I didn't have anything planned to talk to. I was going to let you tell me what you wanted to know, but there were a couple things in the mind speak. I'd like to make a point. Mind speak is a blast. We already know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I believe anybody's capable of it. I think we've all experienced it, even if we don't know that we have. It's a matter of realizing what we're getting. That being said, okay, all fun things have a dark side. And I work with a lot of people and I teach them how to mind speak, and I'm happy to do so. If you're going to mind speak, learn how to read energy. Your life may depend on it, because once mind speak is not limited to a Sasquatch. Everything out there
Not at
mind
all.
speak. Okay, every animal does, a rock, a tree, an ET, every cryptid known to mankind and known to the ETs, all of those things can talk to you. That doesn't mean they're good.
I know there are many of us in here that talk to our pets, and we hear them talk
I do
back.
all the time.
So,
yeah,
absolutely.
and
I mean,
so
trees, rocks, everything. So,
yeah. But the thing is something can come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm Winnie the Pooh, and I'm nice, and let's sit down and have some honey," and it's actually an ET that would like you dead, and not all ETs are bad. There's a lot of good ones out there as well.
Just had that happen. Just had that over Lionsgate. Just had a gate show up in front of me that was trying to lure me down it, and I had to realize this is not right. And so this is called discernment. So really one of the most important things you have to learn is discernment before you even get to any of the other stuff. So
everybody is capable of reading energy. If you're standing at home and somebody walks up behind you, and you feel somebody coming up behind you before you see them, that's reading their energy. So what you're going to do is, whatever you're talking to, learn what that energy signature is, because everything has it. And you will learn which ones are good, which ones are bad. And it's the same thing with meditation. Everybody preaches, "Oh, meditate, meditate." I personally don't, for a number of reasons. I'm so open to talking to everything that it's not something I choose to do. Doesn't mean I won't take a moment or two during my day and just kind of decompose and be quiet, take a deep breath, let it out. You can meditate without talking to things. You really and truly can. Something's out there because lights are flashing from the sky. So
yep.
you can do these things.
I don't doubt that we've got some attention. I don't doubt it, whatsoever, because I know they're up there all the time, whether we can see them or not.
Well, I was on Dave Scott's show, and I've done his show a couple times, and Duke Sullivan is on it. He does a Bigfoot segment every Tuesday and Thursday, and he unfortunately was not going to be able to do it one night, and he asked me if I would take his place. It's only like a 10-15 minute segment, and I said yeah. So I went outside, and when I did, there was Sasquatch running all over the yard. Dave's like, turn the camera. Okay, can you please ask to be more specific by utilizing the term they? Normally when I say they, I'm referring to the Sasquatch. I'm sorry if there was some confusion.
Okay. So, and get your questions ready. Robin is actually happy to answer questions. Part of the reason that she's here.
Yep.
I'm sure. She likes answering questions. We love questions. We love educating people as well as entertaining you. That's what we're here for. And one of the main things is, like I said, I want, one of the things that Divine Mother and Father told me back when I was channeling them was, you have absolutely got to learn. And I found out Divine Mother and Father, we all have them. We all, have a version of them. They're part of us. That's another whole long story, but if you go back enough in the archives, you'll find them. But they told me, one of your most important things is to learn to read the energy patterns. Don't go by looks, because you can be fooled by looks, you can be fooled by sound, smells, everything. Absolutely. Your five senses all can be fooled. Everything energy like that can be fooled.
Lie.
But if the energy's wrong, it's wrong. It's not right. And I swear by that. You need to learn to read energy. Number one.
I've done energy work since I was little, and I'm telling you what, I don't care how good or bad something comes at you, the energy signatures do not lie.
Absolutely. That's
Very, yes,
what they
there
told
is.
me.
The government has created some, and they are not overly nice. The Sasquatch were originally created by the ETs to begin with. That's why they have that side of their father. But the government has created some. They wanted originally, my understanding is to use them in the military. And I think that at some degree they may have. I'm not going to comment on that portion of it, but they have created some. And the other thing that is a concern that is creating Sasquatch that are not real is there is a sector of ET. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of that group, but according to the Sasquatch, and I've witnessed this, I've physically seen this, they want the Sasquatch destroyed. When the Sasquatch first came down, they were here to observe. They were not here to do anything. They were here to observe us. And I had somebody in a group say something to me pertaining to, you said that they were here to hunt. I've never said that. Never. They came here to observe and see what was going on and report to the ETs. They did not report to the ETs. The ETs would prefer that they're removed. And they come down, they want to capture them, take them back, and destroy them. And what they're doing is they come down, and I'm not the only one that has witnessed this, by the way. I've talked to several people that have seen it. They bring them down in ships, and they come out of these ships, and they are very robotic. They cannot mind speak. They really cannot talk, per se, in any language. They look identical to a regular Sasquatch. However, they are robotic. So you've got those two fractions that have created them. So those, and they're deadly. They are not good. They are not the regular Sasquatch. Marlena, when just their baby too, is that a trust? Yes, they were. When Sadie brought me the baby, we named her Sadie. It just stuck. That's not her tribal name. That was the name we just called her around the house. She had been around for a couple of years. And one day I was in my bedroom. I was folding clothes, and the dog was barking like crazy. I looked outside, and on the side of the property, it looked like somebody with an orange shirt that was just a really big person. I thought, nobody's supposed to be out there. I went outside, and when I did, she had a baby. And it was a test. It was a test to see how trustworthy. I knew it was a test. She let me get probably 30, 40 feet, maybe closer. I was able to see the baby. I did not make any move to touch the baby. And I watched him play for a little bit, and then she left. And it was definitely a trust. It was to see if I was trustworthy. Had I not passed that test or done anything inappropriate, I'm sure there were others around that would have taken care of me in a heartbeat. They're excessively possessive.
That's one thing that they told me, is that even though I didn't know what they were, I saw their structures and some of their stuff, and I would never touch it. I would never bother it. I would think to myself, that's not mine. That is somebody else's work. And somebody else, owns that. And I would never touch it. And they told me that they actually appreciated that about me. And that's one of the reasons they like me, is I will not touch it, something that I see lying there, unless, it's like, maybe I should check on that. But I mean, I would never touch any of their stuff. Yeah. And if I felt like I was in the wrong area, I would leave. And I would not. See, I didn't know that. So you're saying the Pebbles was just saying hi, basically.
Yeah. And I want to get back to the size of the rocks, because I think it's important. But I want to make a comment. Strangeland posted something, and he's got an absolutely beautiful point. It says many will show a human face and can change to other looks. Just so many other odd-looking cryptids other than a Sasquatch, a lot controlled by little beings showing in a cartoon look. He is 100% right. Okay. Yep. Number one, all of these cryptids, as well as ETs, can shapeshift. So doesn't mean they all do. And I'm going to touch on the reason why I say that. But he is right, because they do. They can morph into other things. And then you have the government that is creating cryptids on top of what the ETs already are. There's been countless people that have seen orbs that have little beings inside of them, and they're using these orbs as a way to travel. Orbs are their own little energy being, and they are normally around all your cryptids and the ETs, but there's people that are seeing them inside of it. So he was absolutely right on that. I have to agree with him 100%. They can shape shift. It doesn't mean all of them do. When I say that, it's because they all are born with these paranormal abilities. Okay. And I've talked about this on other shows.
That are normal and not paranormal for them. It's perfectly normal for them.
Correct.
Right.
And so I'm not going to, for the people that have heard me before, I don't want to bore them. But what happens is, like, we have Amish people. And the Amish, certain sectors, not all, but certain sectors, don't use motor vehicles, don't use electricity. Okay, that's their choice and their culture and how they choose to live their lives. So when it comes to the Sasquatch or any of the other cryptids that have these paranormal abilities, if they are in a clan, or like for the Dogman, a pack, that choose to use the paranormal abilities, the parents will teach them and say, hey, you have these abilities. This is how you access them. This is how you use it. If they are in a group that chooses to live their life more flesh and blood and not anything else, then they won't even let the kids know they can do these things. So they grow up not knowing.
Just like us.
100% like us. Absolutely. Now, they will all use telepathy. Okay. Or telepathy. I always say that's wrong. Sorry. They all will use telepathy. So that they're going to, because that comes down to survival instinct, that comes down to protection, them being able to communicate that way. Okay. Marlena says, isn't the artificial Sasquatch AI? I don't necessarily, because AI is trying to destroy humanity, so they will kill Sasquatch too. Yes, they will try to kill the Sasquatch too. But the particular ones that I'm talking about are created by the ETs. There may be artificial intelligence besides the ETs that are creating them. And AI does want to destroy the Sasquatch too. They basically want to destroy anything that's good. So yeah.
Anything that's really alive.
Yeah. But the ones I'm referring to are definitely ET created.
Hi, Judy Wheeler.
I love Judy. She's a sweet girl.
Hey, Judy. Okay, well, hi, Judy, then. Honestly, if I were to say, and I'm not going to get biblical and religious, but if I were to say what a anti-Christ would be, it would be AI. Because it's not natural and it's not made by creator. And we, the natural beings that are made by creator, that's one thing. And then there are these unnatural beings that are not made by creator.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I were to say, and I can't really say evil because they don't even have a conscience because they're machines. So, you know,
I think they're almost like an essence. I mean, I'm not saying they're not a machine, but it's more like an essence. And the AI is, and I'm not an expert on the AI. I'm not an expert on anybody, but the amount of energy that they pull and the power they possess, nobody should have. Whether it's a machine, a person, or anything, it's just too immense, and that never goes well.
What are they even spreading for? It's like they're just spreading more like a plague than a life form. But I guess some people would see it.
Okay, when you have evil or anything bad goes on, it creates a dark energy.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these things feed off of it. Just like if you go to a buffet, you're like, oh my God, look at all this food. I can just, wolf it all down. And you eat and you eat and you eat. When we're hungry, we eat until we're hungry again. All of these things feed on dark energy. And it's just like they consume it, they eat it. When they need more, they make more. So if they turn our world upside down, if they wreck our lives or whatever, puts us in peril, makes us depressed, makes us upset, our energy
keeps the vibe low.
It brings your vibration down so you can't fight back. But they eat and survive off the dark energy.
Despair.
And that's how they get stronger while we get weaker.
Yes. Right. And I have said the number one thing you can do if you are being bothered by all these things, the number one thing you can do is whatever you need to do to raise your vibration, to put you in a happy place, to put you out of their grip. Because if you're happy and serene and, you know, letting it roll off of you somehow, and I mean, sometimes it's not easy. But if you can do that, if you can keep it like that and not get emotionally involved and not make it personal and just not play the game with them, not play the game.
Yeah, and when just like Dee was saying, don't play the game. And by saying not to play the game, that means you don't say, I'm not going to deal with you. Okay, because now you're in the game. That means you block it. And one of the ways you block it, and this is just an FYI, you know, for whatever, if anybody is interested in that, white noise makes it impossible for them to get to you. And when I say white noise, I've tested this theory so many times, it's not even funny. I literally took a portable little, it's not a boom box. It's just like, it's a box, you know, that you hook up to the Wi-Fi and you can play music through. And I took it and played it. And when I say the white noise, I don't mean this hard punk rock, acid rock music, or that's right, very, very much. And I'm talking about an uplifting, upbeat, happy music that just really makes you feel good, and blast it. They cannot get to you through the white noise. I went one time and I put that on, and I knew the ETs were out there and I knew they were looking for me. And I said to Pat, and Pat's my husband, and I said, I'm going to do this as a test. And he says, what are you going to do? And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this music and I'm going to walk out in the backyard. He said, you are nuts. They are flying all over in the backyard. I said, I don't care. I played that music on that thing as loud as I could. They never knew I was there. It was like I was invisible. And I walked out there. I sat down on the ground for 10 minutes. They never knew I was there. I turned it off and they were all over me. I mean, it was all right. I mean, you know, the Sasquatch taught me how to kill him, so it wasn't a big deal. It was, you know, but the white noise works, and that's happened to me more than once. And also, if you are out in the woods and you run into something negative, yeah, I believe that none of us are invincible, and there's something that will eventually always find a way around it. What I'm talking about, cannabis, is just a basic, try it, okay? Not everything is always going to work, because there's always something out there that's going to be bigger and badder than you are. But these are just things that are like tools for the trade. Try it. You know, you've got to try something. This stuff works most of the time, but cannabis is right. You know, there's going to be something out there that it's going to find a way around it. But predominantly, for the most part, these are things you can try. But if you're out in the woods up and all of a sudden you're feeling that negative feeling or that fearful feeling that they're projecting on you, and you turn around, you go back to the car and you don't want to be followed, play the upbeat music. They can't find you in it. Or burn sage in your car when you're leaving. They can't find you in it. Or
start singing. I am blessed with the ability to sing like nobody's business. And yeah. So, or play, or I had my guitar with me quite often. I have used my guitar as a defense. And my drum.
But cannabis is right. There's a lot of really bad stuff out there, and you can't get too cocky and think that something will get you. I mean, I've been put in intensive care because of a Draco attack. I have been abducted multiple times, and so there is always going to be something out there that can get around it, but not everything can. And so you have to do what you can do to the best of your ability, is what I'm saying. These things do work. I've had to do them my entire life. Now, but again, I stress, there is always something that's going to be bigger than badder than you. You can't go into any of this thinking that you are so tough and you are so bulletproof that, you know, nothing's going to get to you, because that's not right either. It's not true. But you can do what you can do. You're not completely hopeless. or helpless, I guess.
I do recommend, though, that whenever you go into a situation like that, you go in with a certain level of confidence that you have to have confidence. You have to also be aware of your sacred space and that you have a right to your sacred space. And sometimes you have to demand your sacred space.
A lot of people will plead the blood of Jesus Christ and they get a lot of results with that, you know.
Yes.
But he is right. You can't
there
go
are
in and be
ways.
cocky. You can't be cocky and say, you know, I'm invincible because you'll be dead in a day. But there are things you can do to try to protect yourself. So what I'm telling you are just things.
Right. We're trying to keep you safe, guys. And you know what? The ones that I like it. It's funny but hurts is the people who go into the woods with a gun. I'm going to hunt me a Sasquatch. You know, it's like, oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
that hurts.
The
whole thought, it hurts. It hurts.
As far as I'm concerned, anybody going out there to do physical harm to them, if you are being attacked and your life is in danger, then I can understand that, just as I can understand defending yourself with one of our people. Okay. But if you're going out there because you're going to hunt them down and you're going to be the one to prove that they exist, big news flash. Everybody knows they exist. The secret's out. It's been out for a long time. The government has a ton of them held hostage. They've got bodies on slabs. Everybody knows they're there. They're there. That's not an issue. Melba did the study. We got 3 genomes pulled. The DNA was there. And so, she did flesh, a toenail, you name hair. We did all kinds of things. The secret's out. They're there. But, at the end of the day, going out there to try to kill one is suicide. It really is.
You're right. That is the stupidest thing. I sit there and I just.
Yeah, you have. He's right. You have to go in there feeling confident in yourself. Not so much, I don't think, that a confidence of, oh, I'm big and tough and I can take on anything. I know researchers like that, and I laugh at them. You have to have a respect for what can happen to you out there, and the fact that truly we are on the bottom totem pole from a lot of very things. Now, Strangeland said, I show lack of fear area if I pick up on it. Smart man. Okay. Because I'll tell you what, 10 out of 10 people, 7 people will go out there, feel the fear and say, I'm too tough. I'm bulletproof. I'm fine. I'm going to stay out here anyway. And then when they get attacked and something bad goes wrong, everybody heads to the woods to kill one of the cryptids. Okay. Yeah. The cryptids gave you a warning to leave and you didn't. What do you want them to do? If you're sitting in your living room and someone kicks open your door and comes running into your living room, you're going to fire a shot at them and protect your family. But yet when they do it, it's wrong. It's a mutual respect. Judy says, Robin, I just experienced phenomena that morphed into white grays during a thunderstorm while lost in a canyon on the Mongolian Rim last week. I believe that 100%. The tall whites, a lot of them live here on our planet, I say our planet, please excuse me. I don't mean ours per shared planet. I don't believe in my heart that this belongs to just us. I don't think it ever did.
But the one we're living on, yes. Yeah. The one we're living on right now.
Judy, that's tremendous. And yeah, all these things can morph. Absolutely. 100%.
Oh, yes, Cannabis. Go ahead and get higher. Yes, please do. There, does that give you a permission slip?
What's he doing?
Okay, this is what he says. Said, well, okay, we're going to twist your arm. And they say, we're twisting your arm. You better go do it now.
Well, let me tell you something. While you're higher than a kite, you may in your mind things, but a lot of things will not deal with you because you're not clear-minded. So, I mean, I am not judging anybody. Okay. I know a lot of people that use cannabis for pain or whatever. That's perfectly fine. That's not meant as a judgment. I'm just saying that when you use that, I know that use that on a regular basis, and it limits them on their contact, and it limits them on the mind speak. Not talk to them while they are mentally impaired, but a lot of the bad stuff will. So just please be careful. Like I said, again, no judgment whatsoever. I have 4 apple trees on my land. Blueberry. No wonder they like you, Strangeland. You've got all their favorites.
Yep. And he's also the one that has the trees waving at him.
You know,
aren't
but
you,
you know
Todd?
what?
The trees waving at you.
I have a lot of respect for Strangeland. I really do. I've seen him on different chats. I've never seen, if he has said anything else, I haven't seen it, but I've never seen him say anything unkind, and he seems very respectful.
I keep trying to get him on the show.
I really think he's a
Todd,
nice person.
you've got to get on the show one of these days. I
love it.
to you.
I mean, he has got these things on his property where, as our greed takes over, and they say, okay, I have it, it's mine. This is a wonderful person from where I sit and have seen that says, look, I'm willing to share this with you. That's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. This is what Dogman
I would too. I would absolutely. I did too. The other creatures that were, even when I was in the city, I had wild bees come and be my little friends, growing my little tiny garden. And they were my friends, and I could put my hands right down in them, and they never stung me, and people would gasp. But they would actually go where I told them to go. I'd say, these are my grapes, you go over there. They'd go over there. And I charmed them out of our house. They were trying to build in under the, what do you call it, the siding. And my ex was allergic, and he was going to get an exterminator, and I talked him into moving back into the shed that we never used.
Yeah.
So even bees, even wild creatures like that you can communicate with them if you do it the right way.
I have a dog panicking because of the storm. Here, go under the blanket.
Poor puppy.
Okay, Chris Chase is another one that is just an incredibly wonderful, pure-hearted human being. He is just a doll. And he was talking about, people feel like this about the Dogman and just leave him alone. They're probably laughing at us with our guns, and they do. And the thing of it is Dogmen are not all bad. They get such a bad rap. The government-made ones are horrifying. And, there are a lot of them that can be bad, but like anything else, they are not all bad. Barry, it probably would. The Sasquatch in Alaska actually, they follow the caribou, and it's part of, what they eat. So it probably would attract them. And Cannabis, I'm sure you've had a ton of amazing experiences. I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm being serious.
Mm-hmm. You got to get on the show sometime, bro.
Absolutely. I would love to hear it. The only way we learn is by sharing experiences. And I don't care if you've had just a matter of walking out in the woods and a feeling they were there, or if you've had a lifetime experiences. Every experience is important. It's part of the collective. The Sasquatch teach us that we work together as one. And I believe that in my heart and soul. So every experience is important to that collective. I mean, Cannabis, really, like she said, come on the show. I would love to hear what you have to say. And I mean that.
Y'all can get in touch with me.
I don't mean that nasty at all. I mean that sincerely. Okay, it looked like a family of 5, and as the rain ended, we couldn't see them anymore. Yeah, I think that's amazing, Judy. God bless you for sharing that with us. Again, all these experiences are important, no matter how small or how big, they matter. We cannot educate ourselves or anyone else if we don't have the entire picture. And the only way to get that is for everybody to share experiences. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That had to be terrifying, Judy. Thank God you're okay.
Yes, Judy, we want you on the show.
We had
on the show and tell us about it. Look, if any of you have anything to tell us, please, I just put my email down there. Please, or come into our MeWe chat. We're very friendly there. We don't spend a lot of time on social media. It's just a place to hang our hat and post our posts. But we can talk safely there. It's not fake book. Okay, I hate fake book.
My husband and I, we went out in the woods with a friend of ours, and we got far enough back in the woods where, because the tree cover was so dense, it was like just being midnight black. It was so bad. We couldn't find our way out. And we had to try the GPS thing. And for the longest time, we couldn't even get a cell phone signal. I mean, I was in there 3 seconds when they drained my battery from 100% to dead. And they did my too on my husband.
I've seen that.
And finally, I said to him, I said, you got to, we can't get out of here. So they were trying to hunt. They wanted us to leave. And they weren't being mean at all. They just kept telling us what they wanted. And I was like, if you want us out, you've got to give us some kind of, use one of the phones. And finally, Pat's popped up, and he was able to get a signal to GPS us out of there.
Great. I'm really sorry. Yes, you did. You did.
What?
You did, Naysay. Naysay said he was going to be on, and he just...
Cannabis,
and I'm going to thank you.
I would watch.
Thank you, Naysay.
I would love to hear your experiences. They're just as important as mine or anybody else's. Everybody has to work together. This isn't a one-man show. It really isn't. Yeah. This journey through all of the paranormal stuff and the cryptids and the ETs and all of that, I don't care who it is that's talking. It is not a one-man show. We have to come together to learn from each other. Ego has to be dumped at the door, and no experts, and all on the same level playing field, and just share experiences to learn. Hey, Steve, hi. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's here.
Oh yeah, Steve. Steve is in SOR a lot.
Do you know what, Steve? It's not going to matter, because number one, we created time, they didn't. They're going to notice that, it's been a moon and a sun that they haven't seen you or whatever, but it's not going to matter. They will remember you. And while you're home, work on your mind speak. Get hold of me. I'll help you with it. Okay. Absolutely. And I think if you look in like on Duke's chat and stuff, and we can even put it on here, you can get my email, get hold of me, and I'll help you work on the mind while you're home. But they're going to remember you.
Mm-hmm. Look, we have healers. We have healers in here, and we're, and if you are a healer, please let us know. Yep. And we'll let people know. I mean, I'm trying to get a community together here, folks. We've got to send our little roots out in all directions. I keep getting standing people, the trees. Yeah. And, which is our network. And we got to build our network, and that's real important.
Yep.
So please get in touch with me.
Steve, my email, if you have a pen, is RLYNNE and then a period, FORESTPEOPLE@gmail.com.
I would love to see that, Todd. I'm sure we all would love to see that. And you have got to get on the show too. You guys are just a storehouse of experiences and wisdom. Incredible. And I'm sitting right here, folks. I'm wide open to it. Please come on the show. Don't be afraid. You don't even have to show your face. There's a way to come into StreamYard and just put your little avatar up there.
The one track in the snow was so that you would see it and find comfort in it.
So, yeah. And
you did the right thing, Judy.
Yeah, I think they were. And you know what? It's like, I got to say, another thing I want to mention is I think I'm talking to a female when I'm talking. Usually it's a female.
Yeah.
And she is very loving and very maternal and almost talks to me like I'm a kid, like I'm her kid or something. She is very, I guess they've known me ever since I was a child, and I never knew it was them until recently. And they did give me some little things along the way to show me that they were here. And now it's time for me to remember. And they put memories in my mind. And they'll often do that. If you're talking to them, one of the ways that they'll speak to you in a mind speak is by showing you pictures and have memories come up to you and
That's
trigger
all part of
memories.
mind speak. Mind speak is not just words in your head.
Yeah.
It is a picture, it is a video, it is a thought, it is a feeling, anything that isn't your own or that just projects on you all of a sudden and you're like, where did that come from? You know, why did I think of that? It can come in many forms. Some people only get it in one way or another. Other people, like myself, my husband, and a friend of mine, we get all the different ways. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Oh,
Yeah.
Steve, did you enjoy the book? It's really good. But like I said, you know, while you're down having surgery, email me and we'll have a if you want. You don't have to. We'll have a conversation on the phone and I'll work with you on the mind speak so that way you can have you something to work on while you're laid up.
I
I'm so
did this
glad you
while I
got her
was
book.
in my home. I was in my home. I was not well at the time. I wasn't well. I was sick. I had a lot of things happening from the last place I lived that were trying to kill me. I mean, really.
Yeah.
But you don't need, look, it took me a while to be able to accept, even though I knew I'm bigger than just my body. I'm a being, and so are you. So are we all. And we're much bigger than our bodies, and our bodies are just these little avatars that we use to play this game, whatever, however you want to believe that is. But this is how we access this dimension, this place, this realm.
Well,
But we are really forever, and we're huge, powerful beings. So we do not have to remain in our body. We don't have to be limited by time or space. In fact, there really is no time or space to spirit. There is no time or space.
well,
Spirit
we're all
moves
energy and light
automatically.
beings.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we really are. We're energy and light
Really
beings.
energy.
And
Yes.
depending on what is in our heart, whether we're pure of heart, tainted, whatever, determines if it's a bright light you have or what kind of light that you have. You can defeat anything with your energy and your light. The people that have a faith where they believe in God, you can call it the white light of Christ. The people that are an atheist, they still have the same light. They don't have to think that it came from God. It can come from whatever they choose. But you still have that light and that energy.
And I do want to, before we get very far along, I want you to talk about some of the other cryptids and some of the other things you've seen, because Sasquatch we hear a lot about. It's Sasquatch week on Jimmy Church, by the way, on Fade to Black. Yep. But we hear a lot of it, and I mean, we hear loads about Sasquatch and loads about Dogman, and maybe you can touch on Dogman too, but there are other things. There are cat. Did you know there are cat people? Yeah. There are cat men too.
Cannabis, you're absolutely 100% right. The reason that you seem to do better during the solstice and the equinox is that's when the energy from that is at its highest. And to tap into that, synchronize, or however you want to word it, in with it at that time.
Yes.
A ball of light that turned into a stretch. That's awesome. I love it, Strangeland.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of other cryptids. In fact, if you go on Dee's MeWe site, there is a photo of a cat person. Her name is Amula. She was out in my front yard, and you actually, it's just a headshot of her, and what you're going to see looks like the head of a Sphinx cat, the hairless cat. And she had with her, it was really bizarre. It looks like a little raccoon sitting on her shoulder, and there was a smaller one. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it was one of those things. Sorry, my screen fell. where I did not realize she was out there, and it just did. But yeah, they seem to be a little bit shyer. Some of them will, once they like a person, they might be a little bit more forward. She hangs out a lot. She's relatively quiet, but she hasn't left. I have not witnessed any people turning into a monster. No. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say that can't happen. I don't ever say never to anything. That's not something I've witnessed. Normally, you will see, just because they're cryptids, let's be clear, they are not monsters. So, and I know that's not what Barry was referring to. So, Barry, I wasn't saying that in response to what you had said, but they're not monsters. They are a type of a people. And as they do different genetic manipulations, they're different things, but they can morph into anything. They can morph down and look like they are human. 100% Barry, they can do that. And then they can morph back and look into whatever cryptid that they were. And the ETs, what they do is not only can they morph, but I was given information from them. It's been about a year now, and how they take possession of people. And that's a process that starts when people are in infant stage. And they monitor you, they watch you, they learn everything that you do, your movement, friends, who you hate, who you are close to, everything about you, they watch. They study you like a lab rat. When you get to a certain age, and to my knowledge, there is not a set age. I was not told there was. When they are ready to occupy your body, okay, you are fitted with the suit. You are, the whole little blue pill thing apparently is a real deal according to them. And they remove your soul, and then they take over possession of your body. I have encountered these things before. I've been attacked by these things before. Fortunately, I am able to look at someone, and if that's the case, I can tell. And nobody gets it right all the time. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good success rate with it, but that doesn't mean I haven't missed somebody. But yeah, it actually happens. And respect, the ETs can take over possession of our bodies. And I think that we see that a lot in our political figureheads. But
I'm pretty sure I have seen that in my own
watch
life.
The eyes. The easiest way to tell
the eyes,
is the
exactly, the eyes.
And little
Change.
FYI, they can imitate the body. They can imitate the movements. They do not imitate the voice well. So you'll see somebody that that will not make eye contact while speaking. Their voice sounds a little bit off. They talk in shorter sentences, and they are very limited and unwilling to speak.
Right. I don't understand this, Barry. I don't really.
Barry, thank you for clarifying, because I wasn't really sure. I don't think that, thank you, because I didn't know what you were, I wasn't really clear. To my knowledge, they've not seen that. If they have, they have not shared that with me. So I don't know if that helps or not, but they've never, ever said to me that they've seen that, no.
Be good, Ben. We don't want the algorithms. I can't put that up here because the algorithms will pick that up. But
Barry's another one. Barry is super sweet. I've talked to him on Messenger before. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Barry comes in here a lot.
Cannabis, absolutely true. Absolutely true. I agree with you.
Yep. Let's see. So hyper white and dark eyes.
Yeah, the tall whites. Yeah, the white is a different kind of white. They're another one that you've got to be really careful of. While they're not going to come out and try to kill you right away, when it comes to their children, don't look at them, don't go near them, don't talk to, for the love of God, don't talk to them. You stay as far away as possible. And my understanding, and I could be wrong, is that the females are touchier than the males.
Well, because of the children, and because they're females, and that's what I've heard too, is you really want to be careful with.
But again, these are a race that, unless they approach you and initiate contact, do not do it on your own.
Yeah, the place and circumstances are different. Well, you know, this is it. It's happened plenty of places, plenty of times all over the world with lots of people from different walks of life. And that's why I get so upset sometimes when people act like this is so weird and you're crazy, is because you're everybody in the freaking world can't be crazy. All of these millions of people cannot be hoaxing,
Well,
crazy, whatever, drunk,
and
whatever you think they're
yeah.
doing.
And
It's
Strangeland, that's why it's so vital that we all come together with our experiences, because a lot of people will have shared experiences. A lot of people will have them shared, but with a little bit of a different aspect to it. All of these things, everybody is just as important as the other one. I
unfortunately,
agree,
I have
Barry.
encountered those. I've encountered
Yeah,
those.
Barry,
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Yep.
See, you know what? The people who come here, they're usually they've had experience. Like I said, almost all of us are experiencers if we're honest. You know,
Well,
if we're
and
honest.
I've noticed that the people that you have in chat tonight are really smart. Like they are already on their A game and they've had experiences. And I mean, we learn from each other and they just are they're really good. Like it's a nice group.
Thank you. I'm very proud of attracting
I
that
mean,
kind
I
of
don't know it
people.
all. You know, I say this over and over. I don't know it all. I can tell you what I know, but I can't tell you what I don't know. You
Right.
know, so
Well,
it's
and you
great
don't
when you have people that have had
you
experiences
don't
come
know what
forward
you
and
don't
say,
know.
exactly. But it's great. Like on the show tonight, we've got people that are coming forward and saying, hey, this is what I've experienced. This is what I've heard of. And it's fantastic. That's what you want. You want that open communication. You want to interchange, you know, thoughts and ideas and stuff. That's how you learn. That's how you figure it out. Nobody
Right.
is going to be right 100% of the time. They just aren't.
This is a community, and I would like to see it expand. So don't forget, I'm going to do my little commercial here for the channel. Please, you know, it helps us in the algorithms if you like, if you comment, if you share, if you subscribe, if you know other people and tell them to come if you think they'd be a good fit here. I don't really need everybody in the universe to be in here, but if it's somebody that you think would benefit from being here or would be a benefit to us or some mutual thing, please let them know, because this is still a tiny channel and I'm hoping to grow it a bit now. I'm finally ready to grow it a bit. Um, yes, the angel, and you know what? If you're ever wondering about numbers, you can literally type numbers into search and say the meaning of numbers, these numbers, and type them in. And you will actually get sites that will explain the numbers, what the numbers can mean, can
Easy.
possibly mean to you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and yeah, those are master. I mean, I know 11 and 2, and I think 22 and 33 are master numbers, and it has something to do with mastery of the physical plane, mastery of the spiritual, or both planes, something like that, of existence. I, I can't go into it right now because we got everybody talking right now. We got a lot going on here. Uh, Cannabis says, I know everything, but I have terrible recall. Well, join the
That's
club.
okay. We love you anyway.
And Strangeland says everything is based on my experiences, and I say it all the time.
Strangeland,
And
I think you're
yes,
wonderful. I love the fact that you share your experiences. I think they're really important. And I believe you when you share them.
yep. And you know, Gemini,
Yep. Gemini is awesome. I
Gemini's
think
great.
they're,
You know what? I have some of these people have my phone number, and really, there's some of you that could still have my phone. I mean, you know, I would be glad to talk to you if you want. And if you do, please come into me. We will strike up a friendship. And if I think if we get on, you can have my phone number and we can talk directly. But yeah, it's Oh, we have somebody new Hale and Tellerick. Hello there.
Oh my gosh, I love him.
Hello.
Crazy. He is wonderful. Him and his wife and his brother and his brother's wife. I love these people. They were so kind to me. I actually went and stayed with him, and I had a tremendous time. And when I moved back to Michigan, I'm telling you what, I'm going to call them as soon as I get back because I love them. And I'll tell you, he has got, and I've said this before, some of the best foot tracks and prints I have seen in my life. Not only do the Sasquatch love both him and his brother and actually interact with them, the footprints are beyond compare. I've never seen anybody in all my 58 years that has the tracks and the quality of tracks that he has. Tremendous. And you're talking him and his wife and his brother.
Rick, you better be on here sometime too. You're invited to come on here sometime too.
The four of them are the kindest people God created. I mean, they're just tremendous.
I mean, here's my email.
Love them.
Let me put it down there for you.
Absolutely. Nothing in this world I wouldn't do for those people.
It's really easy to remember. If you can remember Ocean and Diana, you pretty much got it. Okay. So, Michigan again. Is it Michigan again? We've got a lot of people kind of stacking up in Michigan now.
Woo-hoo!
Or near Michigan.
Yeah. I can't wait to get back. We're currently looking for property and trying to wrap up some things that are going on here in South Carolina longer than I had hoped, but I am going home. I came
I'm
here.
in Ohio. I'm Weird, Ohio.
And
Robin is going to be in Michigan.
Yeah, when I moved here, I knew I wasn't staying permanently. This was a temporary stop. I had things that I needed to take care of. That's been done. I'm going home. I'm a Michigan girl, and where I'm at, the venomous snakes are so heavily concentrated, it makes it difficult to enjoy yourself. And so I cannot wait to get back out in the woods. I was in Michigan in June. And into the first week in July, I filmed a documentary for Jason Kenzie and Chan Detma and Ernie Fargo. And then I was visiting with family and spending a lot of much needed time in the woods with Foots.
So Dee Freeman came in, and yeah, we got a nice little crowd here.
Awesome. Hi.
Awesome. We got about 13 people, which is for my channel pretty good. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a small channel, but I have not really been working on expanding it that much until recently. I'm feeling better now. I've had a long illness. Yeah. I'm feeling better now. I'm working on expanding my channel. So, it's like if you know anybody who needs to come out, who you think would be a good fit here, please tell them to get in touch with me. And I would love to see them, and please invite them to our group, especially if you're an experiencer, because we want to hear from you, and we really need to talk to each other. We need to be able to rely on each other. We need to be able to.
There seems to be in this field this disconnect where they think that this researcher or that researcher is better, than per se. People will think, whether it's themselves or whether it's another person or whatever. It's not. We're all so badly needed in this, and we have to come together. We're all on equal playing field, no matter how much your experiences are or how little. Come forward. Let us learn from each other. That's how we're going to find the answers everybody's looking for.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to be on YouTube and on the World Wide Web and all that, please come into our MeWe and chat with us. And
there's no question that's a stupid question. All questions are valid, because at the end of the day, we all just want answers.
Right. And honestly, I think what I really am hoping is that before too long, we can have some kind of an event where everybody can show up and meet each other, literally meet each other. Here in Ohio, we have a lot of weirdness. If I was feeling good, girl, if I had a car, I don't even have a car. I mean, this is how I travel right now, is on the web. But most of the time, by the power of the almighty pinky toenail, make it heal myself. Cannabis, I am working on that. Okay, I'm getting better. I'm feeling much better. Jim and I said she'd love Marilena to come to a visit. You know what? I'd love to see all of you. Um, but honestly, I have so much to show you in Ohio. I'd be all over Ohio showing you things. If I had a car and I felt good enough, Ohio is full of things. If I had a cohort, maybe to get around with, I could show you all kinds of things right here in Ohio that are really freaky. This is a freaky place. I mean, Ohio is one of the freakiest places in the nation. It has its own volume of Weird America. It was so weird, it couldn't even fit into the same volume with all the other states. And they didn't even fit everything into the Weird Ohio volume. So we got everything. We got cryptids, we got aliens, we got ghosts. We have every freaking thing here. So mounds, we have
got all
Indian
that at my house. I don't have to go anywhere for it.
Right. It's all over here. I don't have to go anywhere. It's all within 20 miles of here. There's all this stuff, you know. So that I could show you that's really bizarro. I mean, even to the mud flood stuff, to this stuff that they call the Tartarian type buildings, and the I'm sure I have found mud fossils out here. There's plenty of stuff like that. There's just plenty. We have rock cut areas just like the rock cut ruins. We have every daggone thing here. Okay. So I would love to maybe have some kind of an event in Ohio where we can just go around, get in a bus, and go to that would be kind of fun, a magic bus where we just go to these different sites and take a look at them. Serpent Mound.
Didn't they have the magic school bus when we were little?
Yeah, some kind of magic bus, and just we can.
Any other questions you have for me? I have to leave here in about 8 minutes. Is there any other
question? Because she only has 8 minutes. We only got a few minutes left. Please get your final questions.
What it is a very good friend of mine, William Lunsford, is on the Jimmy Church show tonight. And so when I leave here, I'm going to head over to the chat room over there and support him. We all need to support each other.
We do. We do. And I really got to say, there's so much more we can cover, Robin, that we haven't even covered the tip.
Not even scratched the surface.
It's just the tip. Okay. Yeah. Naysay, watch what you say. Watch what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Okay. I tease Naysay a lot. I really do. But he likes it. Next spring equinox. Next spring equinox, trying to get there, not the calendar date, the actual equinox. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
It's when
amazing world of hidden history. We got that too.
It is, Franklin, I agree.
Get a magic short bus.
Exactly, D. Freeman.
A magic short bus, yes. My crew is the best crew. You all are great. I love you. And we're all going to go to Jimmy Church and rock it out, right?
Church was amazing last night. I love him. He is like a brother to me. We get along so good. I just adore him. Him and I and Christy Sci-Fi and my husband were at the Nebraska conference. We had so much fun. It was incredible. We're going to be back there again next year. So we had a blast.
I'm going to try and get Duke in here. You think Duke could come in here?
Probably.
Let's see if we can rope him in here somehow.
Him and I get along great, though. He's awesome. He did a phenomenal job last night, and he was amazing. William's on tonight. Cannot wait, because I love William as well. So it'll be a good show.
He just mentioned that the reason he hadn't been making so many Bigfoot videos or anything is because his transmission went out on his vehicle, and he couldn't afford to get it fixed in the price of gas and so on, or he'd be out there all the time and so on and so forth. They came up with well over $1,000, and Jimmy said in the beginning that he'd match whatever they came up.
Yep.
They came up with a lot of money. I mean, we have an amazing community, and I know we got an amazing community. You guys are the best. So now I want to say we may not see Duke for a while. Once he gets it fixed, we may not see him again until December or so.
Well, and they love him. Like, he'll get hold of me and he'll say, okay, Robin, find out what they want. And he like grocery shops for them. And I'll say, okay, so I'll ask him. It's always the thing. Oh, yeah. It's always bacon. They're obsessed with bacon up there. Peanut butter, garlic, and once in a while, a few other things. But those are the main things. And God bless him.
Bacon.
He gets it every time he takes it to him.
Black Dragon isn't in here. He's obsessed with bacon. He may be a closet.
Black is, I'm going to be honest, probably already over at Jimmy's.
Probably. But he's obsessed with bacon too. So maybe he's got a little Squatch in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure my ex-husband was part Sasquatch when I think about it. But yeah, we'll think. We'll talk about that another time. We only have a couple minutes left. We got like less than 5 minutes. If you have a question, please, and please put it down. Tree knocks and crows rotating sounds.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Crows,
and Todd,
they use crows as watchers, and then they report back.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Could you pass on my contacts to your guests? Yeah, sure. Do Sasquatch like cannabis instead of tobacco?
I don't know. That I don't know. The reason I say that is I would imagine they would like it just as much, if not more. The only reason I say I don't know is I've left tobacco for them before, and they had back with the native. Oh, thank you, Gemini. You're a doll. In here. Back when the Native Americans, they would exchange with them, and they exchanged the tobacco. So they're pretty good about the tobacco. As far as the cannabis, I would assume that they probably would like it, if not more so. Yeah, Marilyn,
I'm going to give them some
ravens,
sausage.
crows, blackbirds. I've had them use other birds as well, but those are the top three.
I have some sausage that I have just too much sausage. I'm gonna give them some sausage. See if
they'll
like
love
that.
it. Yeah,
I'm sure they will. And you know what? And if you are out here, and I know you probably can hear me by mind speak, if not by voice, but probably you can even hear me but you're probably around here somewhere. We love you. Okay. There are those of us here who love you.
And they can feel your heart.
We want you to know that we believe that you are people, and we only want to be your friend. We want to be safe. We want you to be safe. And I send you love. I send you love, my friends. And may we be friends. May we be at peace with each other. Okay? And thank you so much for your mind speak with me and all you've shown us, all of us that have had experiences with you. Thank you. I heard a noise behind me. Thank you. You really, I mean, our hearts, you can tell by the way my people are responding. They're all, they have open hearts for this.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay. And Robin, it has been absolutely wonderful. You really must come on again. And I mean that so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice. And your group over here in the chat are just tremendous and just very kind, warm people. The comments were great. The questions were great.
I knew that they would love you. I knew that everybody would love you. And
it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, I was so excited when you came in. I knew it was going to be just great. I know you got to hurry up and get going, sweetheart, and thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
Really
I appreciate it so much. Yeah.
If you can be on next week, I'll have you on next week and the week
Just
after. I don't care.
when.
Whatever you have time.
You let me know when and I'll be here.
Okay, sweetheart. We love you. Bye-bye, sweetheart. We'll see you soon at Jimmy's.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. Isn't she sweet? I love her. She's already my sister. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, she's already my sister. Yeah, she's great. I knew the first time I heard her that we were going to have a connection because she's a lot like me. In that regard, I mean, a lot of the same, some of the same experiences, some of the same gifts, some of the same, feelings about it, how we should approach these things. And a lot of you too are the same way. I mean, people who have had the experiences, mostly they agree on things. This is what I've found. So it's wonderful that you guys, thank you so much for coming to my show. And thank you so much for your comments. You're always amazing. I could have told her you guys were amazing. Actually, I did tell her you guys were amazing. Yeah. Okay, so I'll see you over at Jimmy's. And also, I will see you. I'm going to move the timing up. Please note, I'm going to try and move the timing up to 8 o'clock. I'm going to try 8 o'clock Eastern. And it's going to be so far Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. I'm going to try and add some days as things change. I may be able to add days, but please come and see me on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'm moving it from 8:30 to 8 because it's getting dark earlier and I want to really be outside some of the time. So love you guys. Oh, Marilena, go get some sleep. Yeah, Marilena is in Africa. So she's in South Africa. So she was on the show too. If you ever want to see her, there's episodes with her. Okay. And those of you who are going to sleep, may you dream well. And remember, the truth is where you find it. I hope you're finding some on my show. And I hope you come back. Also, remember, you are divine. You are creators. So, create well. Keep it in mind. What you think goes out into the world, radiates out into the world. And every one of you is important. Okay? You're all important. Okay. Love you. And good night.